Everybody has doors in their life, and I was lucky enough to find a group of 8 people who have done a door challenge in quilts, and we're going to get to meet them. So come on inside and we'll see what they've done. Tell me about your door.
Well, every quilt that I do, I'm studying something new. In this process with this door, I wanted to paint with thickened dyes. So I used some super clear to thicken up my Procyon dye. And then I painted the surface, and I was just using, my inspiration was a door from Venice on this quilt.
Is the entire surface one piece of fabric and then painted?
It is. This is a whole cloth quilt.
Gorgeous.
The other technique I wanted to learn or to study with was quilting really tight with little tiny circles, trying to like paint with a thread or fill in the surface with just a little tiny quilting all over the whole thing.
It's amazing. And we were looking at this quilt earlier. I can't quilt a face, but you have managed to figure out how to quilt a face pretty heavily.
The only way I could figure it out, and I studied it a few different ways, was just to fill in the surface, just like you're painting in or filling in with like crayons. So little tiny circles again, all over, matching the thread to the fabric.
Okay.
And it made the face.
Oh my gosh, Joey, your quilt is just stunning.
Thank
you.
Tell
me about it.
Well, if there's one thing I love, it's a good challenge. And I threw everything at this quilt. You'll find transparent vinyl, theatrical gels, wool roving, yarn, coon and felt, you name it, it's on it.
Tell us how you did those vines.
Well, I took some eyelash yarn and held it up and hit it with a heat gun while I was twirling the yarn, and it sort of melted upon itself.
What a great effect. And the leaves, what are the leaves made of?
Well, the leaves are a Kunin felt, which is a polyester felt. I hand painted those, stitched on top of them, made them bigger than I needed, held them with the tweezers, and then hit the heat gun and flipped it back and forth.
Good thing you used the tweezers,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Did you have to learn that the hard way?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
That is a couple jewelry findings that I hand painted that I thought would add a nice touch. And the handle and the hinges themselves are actually batik covered Timtex that I hand painted.
Wow. Now I see something a bit more traditional. Just gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm kind of known for my Lone Stars. So that's what I love to do. I'm a piecer. I love to piece. And this one I just took a little bit step further, again, threw something different in there, added some ribbon, lots of metallic threads, crystals.
Patricia, this is a beautiful doorway.
Thank you, thank you. When I was on the computer looking for inspiration for my quilt, this one triggered some vague memory from my past. So yeah. It was all black and white. The window, the chair, and the flower pot and vines were not on the picture. I added those later.
Ah. How did you do your vines?
It's just a silk vine from the craft store that what do you call it, where you go over?
Satin stitch?
Yeah,
or
satin
couching?
stitch, couching, yes, over the vine, and then left the leaves loose.
What a beautiful effect. So tell me about the piece back here.
I love fairies, and Victoria Griffin is the original artist. She's one of my favorite, and I emailed her several years ago and asked her permission to make a quilt from her painting, and she said yes, and it took me 6 years to finally come up with the technique to make it.
My inspiration was the ruins of a temple in Cambodia at Angkor Wat, and it's just a bunch of crumbling ruins, and these huge banyan trees have grown up through the ruins of the temple. I used felt for the tree, and I actually felted it on with my felting machine, so that made it really easy for me to reposition because there are so many little pieces. And then I painted on top of that with Shiva paint sticks and watercolor crayons. I made all of the pieces of the temple by rubbing on texture plates, and then I long arm machine quilted in the different patterns because all of the ruins are beautifully carved and there are all kinds of icons and symbols in them. For the background, I put a piece of silk just over the top, and then I machine quilted in different foliage, and then I painted that.
I love that effect. What is this?
That's just a piece of moss that
it's hard.
That I sewed on by hand.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
And here is another hot quilt. I mean, it must be because we're in Florida that there are all these hot colors.
Yeah, I love orange and red together.
Yeah.
And this was when I was first learning paper piecing and machine quilting. This was the first quilt that I quilted when I got my long arm.
Next we have Karen, who's one of the famous long arm quilters here. And your door, I love your door. Tell me about it.
My door is called The Choice. It's just
Most of it is white fabric, except for the doors, which are brown muslin.
So
They're
this painted. This is painted.
Shiva sticks. This even has coffee and tea dyes because I couldn't get the exact brown that I wanted.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
So tell me, why are the two doors different? They have different labels on them.
Well, because everybody has a reality and everybody wants dreams.
Reality and dreams.
Yeah, and all the dreams can't contain themselves, so they have to peek through.
I love that. So how did you do this?
This is glitter thread that I couched with silk thread on the gamma.
Oh, I love how the dreams are just seeping right through the cracks of the doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
reality.
part of the floor is worn out a little bit more.
Perfect, because yes, we should wear out our dreams, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Now, tell me about this stunning quilt. Your machine quilting, your long arm quilting is amazing.
Thank you.
And it's like a simple piece design and...
Clouds in My Latte was meant as an everyday throw for my family room. And I came up with the quilting design, and once I drew it out and stitched it out, I said, oh, this has to go to shows.
Yeah.
So 3 shows, 3 ribbons later.
Yvonne, tell me about your door. This is interesting.
Well, I found this picture on the internet. It's a door in Italy. And the thing that drew me to it was the bicycle. And I so enjoyed doing the bicycle, actually more than the door. And then I really felt it needed something. So I like three-dimensional things. So I decided it needed a basket.
Yeah.
And I made the flowers from the Joshe way with the...
Joan Shea?
Joan Shea.
Yeah.
And the bread, and that's just a piece of fabric that I put Shiva on. And the bottle was a find.
Oh, my gosh.
And I just made a label for it. So we
a loaf of bread, a jug of wine, and thou. Yeah, boy, that looks like a real loaf of bread. Tell me about the handles on this door.
Oh, the handles I made with some industrial tape. This one is rolled around a piece of wood, and the other one is just, rolled over and over again for strength. And then I glued them on and sewed them on, so hopefully they'll stay on. And then I did paint them, too, and rubbed off the paint.
Yeah.
So they would
Just
have a little rustic look to them.
That's wonderful. Tell me about this beautiful cat here.
Well, this is my cat, Alvin. This was a member challenge for the St. Lucie County Quilt Show that we just had. And I wanted to experiment with thread painting. So I thread painted Alvin, and again I used Joan Shea's three-dimensional flowers because it was supposed to be Who's in Your Garden. That was the theme.
Aww.
And so Alvin's in my garden along with spiders and frogs and all sorts of other things.
Yeah, there is all sorts of things, and these are neat little flowers. Judy, now you have quite a colorful door. Tell me about your door.
Yes, I do. Well, my inspiration for the door when I was looking for something to do was I come from Chicago, and every year they had an art fair in the alleys of very prosperous neighborhoods. So the garages were where this was held, and you'd see the different doors, and of course with Chicago comes graffiti. And that's what it reminded me of, so that's what I went and did. Drew the faces on here, did a lot of thread play. All the initials are the people that took part in our challenge. So everybody's initials are on here that
now,
took
is
part
this
in
painted?
Some of it is painted up in here, but this material was like this.
You bought this material like this?
Yep.
Wow, what a lucky find.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And then the key, we have the key, the old rusted key for it. Tried to get some garbage at the bottom that you see in an alley.
Oh,
so we have that. And oil spill at the other end, just to my little alley here. So, yeah, it was fun.
What a creative
it was fun.
person you are. Now, this piece back here, beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And what's your favorite part about that one?
I love these circles. That's the first thing that I saw that I knew I had to put in it somehow. I wasn't
thought
sure.
they were pieced.
You know?
They're not pieced. It's printed that way.
Yeah, it is printed that way.
Aren't you lucky? You're
Yes.
probably really good at searching out the fabric.
I love fabrics. I love color. Worked at a quilt shop for 5 years, too, so that helped.
I think you're not alone there. We all kind of love that fabric stuff.
Yes, we do.
My door is a photo from Greece, someplace that I'd really love to go someday. My personal challenge was to learn how to make stone and wood from fabric. So it was fun creating something hard out of fabric.
I love your door knocker here.
Thank you.
That's great. And you've got a real key on there.
Yes, that key was my one of my grandfathers, and so the ancientness of it went along with the door.
Yeah, what a perfect way to include him in that. Yeah. And how did you do this, the greenery?
Most of this fabric is my hand dye, and so I dyed some fabric different colored greens, and then I put it in a hoop and did a lot of thread play. This is from the Port St. Lucie Guild Show Challenge in my garden, and I took a photo of my starfruit tree in the yard, and Kaleidoscope Creator helped me a lot with this. I love my Kaleidoscope Creator, and now she has feather templates.
Oh my gosh.
And so my challenge on this for the viewers was to have them try and figure out how it was made. A lot of people thought it was appliqued, and then they thought it was painted. And what I did is I designed it in my computer with Kaleidoscope Creator and then sent it off to Spoonflower and had the fabric printed. So all I had to do was quilt it.
That is really cool.
She makes life easy.
Yeah, she does. And she's a great person, too. I love her. I want to say thank you so much for doing this with me, and all of you for doing this with me. It's been really great.
And I want to thank you so much for coming and enjoying our quilts.
Wow, and I think I got really lucky finding out about you guys. It was a synchronicity thing that it happened, and it was perfect because you guys were meeting today and everything, so thank you. And thank you all for coming. I hope you'll come back next month to see what I have for you then. Thanks for being with me.